Hello everyone. So to demonstrate how to create our wire project, you are going to need 5 things. The image you've decided to make your project out of. It could be an image of you, a celebrity or character, or if you're going to use someone you know that is not you, please get their permission first. Then you're going to need the wire provided in your bag, some tape provided in your bag, your permanent marker that you can find in your bag, and some scissors that you need to provide yourself. The first step that I did, and I've already done so, is to follow along the features of your image, just like how we practiced our contour drawing earlier, and trace around the head, the eyes, the nose, the hair, all of the features, and connect them. This has to be a continuous line, meaning that all of the lines connect, because once we lift our wire off of the page, we cannot have any pieces that are not connected that just fall off. Like if I don't connect the eyes through different lines, they're just going to fall off when I pick up my sculpture. And I'll show you a little bit more about what that means in a second. So once you have traced out your image, to double check what it's going to look like, you can flip it over and you can see the lines that bled through. Also, just a warning, whatever surface you are working on, maybe try and put a folder or another sheet of paper under so that your permanent marker does not bleed through onto your table and stain it, which would be a problem. All right, so you finished tracing your image and you're ready to use wire. I like to start this by just getting the end of my wire out and finding a place that I want to start. Usually I start around the perimeter of the head. If you want to go with the hair or something, that is up to you. This is just where I like to start because it is easiest. So you are going to tape down your wire as you go along and use as much as you think you need. It is up to you. Don't worry about ruining the original image. We're not going to need this original paper for the end product. Alright, so I'm just going to start by doing the perimeter of the head, and I'm going to go along, turning and bending as I go, and taping down as I go so that my wire doesn't like lift off the photo. If you don't follow the Sharpie lines exactly, don't worry about it. It's just a general guideline for you to follow and not a requirement. Okay, so that is the shape of the head. Now I want to go into the lines of my eyebrows, and as I start beginning the smaller details, like starting the nose, and again, it's a learning curve. You have to get used to what it feels like to bend the wire to follow the lines. Now if I don't tape it down, it's just going to lift like that. So that's why we need to take our tape and tape it down as we go so that we don't lose our place. So I'm just going to add some more tape here, and some more tape here. Notice how, for example, the wire doesn't line up exactly with the Sharpie lines I made for the nose. That is totally fine. Again, the Sharpie is just to give you a guideline to make it a little bit easier. Alright, now I want to go back to the eyebrow, but I don't exactly have a line drawn there. That's alright, you can create your own line. If you want to add extra lines and stuff that weren't there originally, that is totally up to you. Again, with smaller features like the eyes and the nose, if your wire does not line up exactly with your Sharpie line, do not worry about it. And you can be as expressive as you'd like. So I'm going to go around, maybe complete the nose. Okay, and notice how sometimes it's a little difficult to get those smaller features, so I might simplify it and decide to go more general with my shapes. And I'm just working around, working around. Notice how I kind of need to tape this part down because it's sticking up. So then I'm going to tape it. Finish the other eye. And again, take as long as you need to finish this step because we have quite a bit of time for this project. Don't feel like you need to rush through. I did not do the mouth yet, but I think I want to follow the lines of the hair and then get to the mouth once I'm closer to the bottom of the image. Again, parts are starting to stick up, so I'm just going to take tape and tape it down in place. Again, do not be shy with the tape use. It is there to help you. Okay. Doing different lines for the hair. Fine. And again, I'm moving quickly just to show you quickly in the video. I encourage you to take your time so you can really get the details in that you want to include. This is just a very quick rundown, and I just want to complete the general shape so that I can show you the next step. All right. So once I am done, let's pretend that I did go over all my features. I added all the extra details I wanted. I'm just gonna use my scissors to cut. And again, if you didn't get the spool of wire and you got the separate 3 feet pieces, you need to learn how to connect your pieces to continue your portrait. The way I like to do that, and you can do it with the like end bit once you finish your project too, is I like to just pull it through, and I'm gonna remove this piece of tape and just twist it onto an existing piece. So that's how you connect pieces of wire together. You just twist them together like that. All right, so let's say that I am complete, like I finished my project, right? Even though I didn't finish this one. You are going to remove from the paper, adjust it, and then present it. And I'll give you your presentation options right now. So I'm just going to carefully lift the pieces of tape that I put down. If it moves things out of place, that is normal. That's why we're going to adjust after. I've had students spend 30 minutes removing tape because they used hundreds of pieces, and I've had students spend 2 minutes removing tape because they only used a couple. It all just depends on whichever helps you the most. I'm going to really quickly remove, be very careful. Okay. And I think I have around one more piece. So I'm going to try to be gentle. Okay. Now, let's say this was my completed project. This is trash now because you don't need it anymore. So let's say this was my completed product. Notice how we have a loose end here. You don't need to close up that loose end if you choose option 1 for presenting. Your first option is to use your tape and actually tape it to a background. You could find a colored background with construction paper you'd like. I've had some students paint a canvas and tape it there. I've even had some students just take a blank sheet and decorate it. I've had students rip out pages they liked from a magazine. Any sort of background you think is fitting of whoever you chose to do your portrait of, you can tape it down and you would be done with your project. And you can tape it really in any place that you think makes the most sense. I've even had some people leave some parts blank, like the mouth or eyes, and draw it into their background, or have separate pieces for the eyes and move them out of the head. You can really be as creative as you'd like with presenting it. Option 2 I really liked because it originally wasn't an option, but a student said they liked it. You could actually hold up your portrait, if it's of you or someone you know, in front of your face, and you could take a picture of it and use that to turn in your project. Your last option is to create a stand to make it stand up on a table or on a surface. And there is a couple different ways to do that, and that is the last thing I will be showing you. So to make a stand, you need, I don't know, maybe a 2.5 foot piece of wire. So let me cut that off real quick. Okay, so you're going to create a little circle as the base for your stand, okay? And again, to close off pieces and connect it, the way you do that is to give it a little twist, like that. Once you do that, just use the rest of your wire to circle around again so that it's a pretty sturdy base and it doesn't topple over easily. And once again, you're going to connect that loose end by twisting it around your base. So now we have a pretty solid circle that is going to help our project stand up on the table. Next, you are going to get two, maybe, 10 to 12 inch pieces of wire. And try to cut them to be around the same length. Again, this is just approximately how long. You can gauge for yourself what you think would work best. So now that I have my base and my two pieces of wire, I'm going to connect the pieces on either side. So I'm just going to take like 1.5 inches off this piece and twist it around like I've been doing to connect it. Okay, so now we have one piece that is connected, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to attach it, and they should be on opposite sides of the circle. And we are twisting it around, just like that. All right, so once you finish that, you should have a base with two pieces sticking up like antennas. Next, you're going to take your project. You are going to close up any loose ends so that it is one solid piece. And again, for example, I'm closing up this end by twisting it. And let's say this is my completed project. I am going to take one end, choose the side of the face, and twist it like this to connect it. Okay, so now it's connected on one side, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to choose where I want it and twist it around like this to connect it. So now my piece is connected on either side. If it's a little wobbly or it needs some extra adjusting, feel free to do so. You can push out your base to make it wider or press it in to make the side supports closer together. Another option that you have, if you'd like, is to twist your two pieces together before you attach it so that you have one stand in the middle instead of two separate on the side. So just to recap, after you lifted off your wire project from the paper, you are going to either make a stand for it and attach it. You are going to choose a background and tape it to that background, or you're going to hold it up in front of your face or someone's face and take an artistic photograph of it. Once you have a photograph of your project, however you decided to present it, that is when you submit it into Teams and do the reflection questions. And again, you can always message me for any questions you might have.